Hi scholars, this is Miss Pompa, and for today's science, we are gonna learn about patterns of movement. So, today's activity for our science we'll be needing 2 popsicle sticks, some scissors, glue, and you will be needing some paper so you could draw and color. So I already did my drawing. Well, actually, I didn't do it. I had a little helper, which is my daughter. She drew a little flower. She drew a sunflower, and we put it on a little stick that we had, and we just put 2 dots of glue, and we glue our paper. Then she drew a little bee, and we put some glue, and we pasted it there. So what we are going to learn is about patterns of movement. And with patterns of movement, it's so interesting because you don't even know, but we do it every single day. So, in order for something to move, it has to move from one position to the other, or from one place to the next. So for example, if this is my bee and it's not moving, then it doesn't have movement. But if she starts flying and using her wings, the force of her wings, then that makes her move. Our next one is the force. Like I told you, bees use their wings as a force of movement. So, in order for her to change from one side to the other, she has to use these little flapping wings and flap, 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 flap to move. And patterns. Patterns are something that repeats or goes on and on. For example, there's different kinds of patterns. For this one, you could do a pattern of going up and down, or in a up and down, like this, up, down, like just like when you're jumping, or zigzag. Zigzag means that it is, let me draw it really quick for you so you can see it. And a zigzag is very easily, it's just like this. Just like this zigzag. So you could go on the zigzag or up and down, just like this. Let's do an up and down. Up, down, just like mountains. It almost looks like a zigzag except for the pointy angles. Then back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes we go back and forth like this. We go back and forth, back and forth. And another force is being super duper fast. The bee's wings help her get to that little flower super fast. She uses all the force she has to fly as fast as she can to get all the pollen to collect and go back to her hive. And sometimes it could be slow, just like Miss Pompa when she doesn't have coffee. Let's see, let's have her fly super slow, until she gets to her flower. Okay, if you're done drawing your flower and your bee, grab them and let's do a couple of movements together. Okay, are we all ready? We have our flower and we have our bee, and she's gonna fly straight to the flower. Now let's have her fly zigzag. Remember, let me show you my zigzag again so you could see how it goes. So if I have my flower over here on this side and she's flying zigzag, she's going like this. She gets the flower. Now let's have her fly up, down, until she gets to the flower. Down. Yay. Good job, scholars. Okay. Now she's gonna flower. Front to back. Or back to front. So she comes to the flower. She collects all. She eats all. She collects it. Now she's gonna go forward, backwards, forward, backwards, forward, backwards, forward, backwards. Faster, faster. Let's do it so fast that she uses her wings to flap them with all her force. Very fast, very fast, very fast. Forward and back, forward and back. What reminds you of that? Do you know what I think of? When I use my swing and my legs going back and forth to get speed while I'm on the swing. That's a little bee using her little flapping wings to go back and forth, back and forth. Now, you do your own little movements with your bee and your flower. Make sure to post a video or your pictures because I would love to see the patterns of movements that you are using. Okay? We'll see you later. Bye, scholars. Have a great afternoon.
So for science this week we're learning about patterns of movement, and there's 4 words that I want you to review for that. The first one is going to be movement. So movement is a change in position. That means when I change one thing from being in one place or one position and going to a different one. The second word is force, and the force is what causes a thing to move positions or to change their position. So I need to apply a force. Like for example, if I had for example a ball, I would need to apply a force to change the position from being here with me and throw it somewhere else, or jumping or spinning or rolling. Position, we'll be talking about it, is like where things are, which the place that they are without any movement or any force that it's being applied to them. And the last word is going to be pattern. So pattern is something that repeats, going on and on. And that could be with going up and down, going back and forth, spinning, rolling, or sliding. There's going to be some objects that spin, some objects that slide, some that roll, and some that go back and forth and up and down. Those are going to be different patterns that repeat all the time with certain movements. So after this, we're going to see a few of the things that we just talked about it, and then on your Easy Peasy Grid with the code REES2 on Flipgrid, you'll be able to explain the words about these vocabulary words with some actions for us to understand the vocabulary. Okay guys, so I hope you have fun doing your Flipgrid. Bye! Let's try a few objects that roll. A toy car. The wheels will go round. So this would be an object that rolls. Also a ball. That would be another object that rolls. And cylinders. Any can that we have could be another object that rolls. Okay, this could be an object that spins, a fan, keeps going round and round. Another pattern of movement will be going up and down. So I also need to apply a force. So I need to jump and go up and down to be able to have this movement.
So there's basic forces like jumping up and down, but you can use the surroundings around you to do more complex types of spinning motions and other types of forces. Like, if you don't want to be simple, you can do a backflip, which is you need more force to apply so you can complete a full rotation around the air.
In order for me to have movement of this hammock, I need a force. So I'm actually going to have to push myself to move positions, and I want to have this movement going back and forth, which is also a pattern because it's always going to repeat. As long as I'm applying some force, it's always going to go back and forth. Okay, objects that have flat surfaces, they're not going to roll down a ramp. So if I were to have a ramp and I put an object, it's not going to roll, but it's going to slide. So each one of those flat faces would slide down the ramp. That will happen with the pyramids or any prism. It's also going to slide. But objects that have curved surfaces like a cone, if I put it on the flat side, it's still going to slide. But if I put it on the curved side, then it's going to roll. That will be a roll. It looks like a slide, but they actually roll. That's it.
Hi, and welcome. My name is Mindy Stroop, and I'm a trainer for STEM Scopes. Today, I'm going to focus on patterns of movement. This, along with many other free resources, can be found at stemscopes.com. Hope you enjoy patterns of movement. You'll notice I have my class today. They're a little bit on the wacky side, but I love them dearly. For this activity, you're going to need a cookie or baking sheet and a can of shaving cream. If you don't have a baking sheet, a simple sheet of aluminum foil will do. Or you can even ask your parents if you can do it right on top of the countertop. If you don't have shaving cream, you might even try chocolate pudding. Then you can lick your fingers and have some fun as well. If you don't like getting your fingers dirty, you can always use a straw or a coffee stirrer or a plain simple stick to write in the shaving cream. First, you'll put a dollop or just a smidge of shaving cream in the middle of your cookie sheet. Then you'll take your hand and just smooth out the shaving cream. The first pattern of movement that we're going to work on is back and forth. So we're going to take our finger in the shaving cream and we're going to go straight across and straight back, straight across and straight back. That's what we call a back and forth movement. But it also could be a back and forth, back and forth. Can you think of something that goes back and forth? Maybe it's something that you've been on before. So remember, The pattern of movement that we were just working on is back and forth. A swing is a great example of back and forth. Have you ever had fun swinging on a swing? Can you think of some other things that go back and forth? Back and forth? I love the way my class is working together. One example that my class came up with was the rocking horse. It goes back and forth and back and forth. Another great example that my kids came up with was a rocking chair. It goes back and forth and back and forth. I love holding my grandbabies and rocking back and forth on the rocking chair. Take a few moments now and let's draw in your Draw and Write journal, and let's draw some pictures of your back and forth movement. Another pattern of movement is zigzag. In a zigzag, you're going to go up, turn a little bit of an angle and come down, then turn a little angle and go up, then turn an angle and come down, then turn an angle and go back up. So it's up, angle down, angle up, angle down, angle up. Zig-zag. Now remember, the pattern of movement that we were just working on was called zigzag. That's a silly name, isn't it? Zigzag. On this zigzag pattern, can you trace the zigzag? Look at this dress. Can you find the zigzag pattern? Look at this beautiful bright colored blanket. Can you find the zigzag pattern? See if you can trace the orange zigzag pattern. How about the pink zigzag pattern? My koala bears found a fantastic example of a zigzag pattern. The koalas came up with an adorable example of zigzag on this hat or toboggan they found. Let's go back now to our Draw and Write journal and let's make some zigzags on our lines. Another pattern of movement that we're going to work on is round and round. Think about a circle or a bowl, and it goes round and round and round. This pattern of movement that we were working on is round and round. I'm going to challenge you to come up with some things that go round and round. My fantastic class came up with some fabulous examples of round and round. One example of something that goes round and round is a roundabout. Kids push it while other kids sit on top of it, and you go round and round and round. Another example of things that go round and round is the merry-go-round. I just love the colorful horses and the really pretty music they play. Another example of what my class came up with was a top. It spins round and round and round and round. Let's pick back up our Draw and Write journal and let's draw some round circles or go round and round and round. Maybe you could even draw a bus that has the wheels that go round and round. Another pattern of movement is up and down. You go up, you come down. You go up, you go down. You go up, you go down. Can you think of some things that you go up and down? Does this look like anything you go up and down? The pattern of movement that we just worked on was up and down. As you can see here, I have a thumbs up and I have a thumbs down. I asked my class to come up with some things where they went up and they went down. my fish came up with a step ladder because you can go up a step ladder and come back down a step ladder. I would really like to see them go up a step ladder and come back down. My one-armed flying dragon came up with stairs. He said you could go up the stairs, and my dragon said you can go down the stairs. Teddy the teddy bear said we could go up and down on a teeter-totter. And the very, very brave koala bears said that you could get in this ride. They would haul you all the way up to the top and then drop you down. Whoosh! Those were some extremely good examples from my fantastic class. Way to go, guys! Let's go back to our draw and write journal now. And let's draw things that go up and down. Maybe you want to do some arrows that go up and down, or your thumb that goes up and down, or maybe you want to make that amusement park ride that goes up and then drops you down. Before I end the pattern of movement lesson, I have a little challenge. Can you think of something that goes round and round and up and down? The answer is a yo-yo. Thank you for joining our class today. Really hope you enjoyed Patterns of Movement.
Force and motion. Imagine you're playing in a playground. Think of all the things around you that can move. The seesaw goes up and down. The swings go back and forth. The merry-go-round goes around in a circle. There are so many ways in which things move. Everything we just described is a type of motion. Motion is movement from one place to another. When the seesaw is still and you and a friend sit on it, it begins to have motion. One seat goes up while the other goes down. They change their positions. Position is the place where you are. If you change your position, you are moving. There are different types of motion. If you swing on the swings, that's a back and forth motion. It's also an up and down motion. If you ride on a merry-go-round, you'll be going round and round in a circle. If you run forward with a back and forth motion to dodge a friend while playing tag, that's a zigzag motion. Or you can run in a straight motion to the base. There are also different speeds of motion. Speed is how fast you move. What speed do you go at when you're on the swings? It can be fast and exciting, or slow and relaxing. On a merry-go-round, you can start off slow and go faster and faster. You may run fast when you pass your friend playing tag and slow down when you get to base. Many things are in motion around us, but some things are standing still. How do we get them in motion? What makes something move? Think about a toy car or truck. Pretend it's sitting on the floor in front of you. How could you get it to move? You might use your hand or foot to push it away or pull it toward you. You might hit it with another object, for example, a ball. You could even blow on it. There are many ways to get things to move. The push or pull that we use to make things move is called a force. A force is needed to make anything move. Let's look at things a person pushes and pulls in one morning. This man pushes an alarm clock to make it stop ringing when he wakes up. He pulls the blankets off himself and uses his legs to push his body up. He pulls open a cabinet to get out his breakfast. He pulls out a bowl and a spoon. He pulls the chair back to sit down and pulls it back in under the table. His teeth push and pull the food. When he's done eating, he pulls up all the food items on the table and pushes them back in the cabinet or fridge. He pushes a washcloth across the dishes to clean them. That's a lot of pushes and pulls. Now, let's use another example of motion. Riding a bike. You use force to get a bike to move. How? By pushing and pulling the pedals. Once the bike is moving, what else can you do? You can go faster by using more force, pushing and pulling harder. You can slow down by using less force, not pushing and pulling as hard. You can change which way you're going by using force, by pulling the handlebar, which pulls the wheels in another direction. What can you do to stop? Well, you can do two things. You can use force to stop by putting on the brakes. Or you can just stop pedaling and you will stop moving after a while. That's because there's another force acting on your bike's wheels. It's called friction. It means the wheels are rubbing against the road, and that rubbing will eventually slow them down to a stop. But if there were no friction and no other force stopping it, your bike would just keep rolling on forever. Now let's summarize what we have learned.